Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new series. Today I am actually starting the eyeshadow palette rotation. I was inspired to do this by Beauty and the Frizz, but the first video that I saw from this idea was from watching Dr. Ash and her makeup, and it really, both of them, Dr. Ash and Kara, really inspired me to dive into my makeup collection and get more use out of the products. So to kick off this series, I'm going to be doing an eyeshadow palette rotation focusing on my Oden'S eye palettes. Very excited because I have a couple of new ones that I picked up that I just haven't had a chance to dig into yet. So this is actually perfect for that. Before we dive in, if this is your first time joining me, hi, welcome. I'm Jamila and I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup. I love all things skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the family. Alright, so for this video, for this palette rotation, I'm going to give you guys 3 looks using 3 different palettes. To kick things off, I'm going to go into look number 1 using the Norns eyeshadow palette. This is an absolutely beautiful one. First time trying it out, so let's just dive into look number 1. Hi guys, so this is look number 1 of my eyeshadow palette rotation video using the Norns palette from Oden'S Eye. This is truly an absolutely beautiful, stunning palette. I love that you can go really grunge with this. I was interested in trying some of the greens, but the palette that I'm going to do next is a green palette. So I decided to avoid the greens and give you guys this kind of grungy purple look, which I'm absolutely loving. I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts on this palette, but let's just dive into look number 2 using the next palette, which, what's the name of that? I think is the Saga of Freja palette. Let's dive into look number 2. Okay guys, we're gonna go in for look number 2 using the Saga of Freja Chapter 2 palette. Yeah, we're gonna do a green-orange look. Let's get started.
20 brought me many realizations. 20 taught me never be complacent. I've got 20 years and I'm still changing. I've lived 20 lives that needed saving. So I got all these layers stacking up like Tetris. The depths of who I am cannot be seen in metrics. More than meets the eye or meets imagination. Yeah. Cause I'm more than just a woman. I'm more than just a person. I got all these dimensions. From the go, I was on my own. Had to find a home up in myself. Plant a seed and grow where I stood, cause I ain't have a shelf. And it's hard to understand when you don't know my rules. Yeah, it's hard to understand when you don't know the truth. Cause we all got some shit that we don't like to mention. And the things that keep me up, they made me who I am, yeah. So I can never sit back, say that I regret it. Every ounce of pain I felt became a lesson. I'm more than just a woman. I'm more than just a person. I got all these dimensions. Whoa. Cause I'm more than any judgment. I'm more than who I was, yeah. I got all these dimensions. Brought me many realizations. 20 taught me never be complacent. I've got 20 years and I'm still changing. I've lived 20 lives that needed saving. So I got all these layers stacking up like Tetris. The depths of who I am cannot be seen in metrics. More than meets the eye or meets imagination. Yeah. Cause I'm more than just a woman. I'm more than just a person. I got all these dimensions. From the go, I was on my own. Had to find a home up in myself. Plant a seed and grow where I stood, cause I ain't have a shelf. And it's hard to understand when you don't know my rules. Yeah, it's hard to understand when you don't know the truth. Cause we all got some shit that we don't like to mention. And the things that keep me up, they made me who I am, yeah. So I can never sit back, say that I regret it. Every ounce of pain I felt became a lesson. I'm more than just a woman. I'm more than just a person. I got all these dimensions. Ooh, 'cause I'm more than any judgment. I'm more than who I was, yeah. I got all these dimensions. Ooh, brought me many realizations. 20 taught me never be complacent. I've got 20 years and I'm still changing. I've lived 20 lives that needed saving. So I got all these layers stacking up like Tetris. The depths of who I am cannot be seen in metrics. More than meets the eye or meets imagination. Yeah. 'Cause I'm more than just a woman. I'm more than just a person. I got all these dimensions.
Okay, so this is look number 2 with the Saga of Freja palette. I actually really enjoyed this one. I think the shadows in this performed absolutely beautifully. And I love how this look turned out. Okay, so we're going to do one more look with my Oden'S eye collection. So let's switch into look number 3, and then I'll come back, wrap things up, and give you guys my final thoughts on the formula and each of these individual palettes and my looks. Let's go to look number 3.
Swear I would watch the Lakers game, even though I don't know basketball from the game we're playing. Yeah, I'm not overcomplicated. You don't have to spin a web with the words you're saying. And if you started feeling down, swear that I would take you higher. Oh, but you give me the runaround. Maybe I'm just getting tired. Oh, I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits. Sliding up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits. Sliding up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I told myself I wouldn't be here, back in the car on the way to your apartment. I thought by now I'd see it clearer, but what I need isn't the same as what I'm wanting. 'Cause whenever I'm feeling down, I lean right into my demons. Oh, yeah, I wish I could turn around, knowing I'm better off leaving. Oh, I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits, lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. I would watch the Lakers game, even though I don't know basketball from the game we're playing. Yeah, I'm not overcomplicated. You don't have to spin a web with the words you're saying. And if you started feeling down, swear that I would take you higher. Oh, but you give me the runaround. Maybe I'm just getting tired. Oh, I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits. Lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits. Lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I told myself I wouldn't be here, back in the car on the way to your apartment. I thought by now I'd see it clearer, but what I need isn't the same as what I'm wanting. 'Cause whenever I'm feeling down, I lean right into my demons. Oh, yeah, I wish I could turn around, knowing I'm better off leaving. Oh, I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits, lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits, lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I know Swear I would watch the Lakers game, even though I don't know basketball from the game we're playing. Yeah, I'm not overcomplicated. You don't have to spin a web with the words you're saying. And if you started feeling down, swear that I would take you higher. Oh, but you give me the runaround. Maybe I'm just getting tired. Oh, I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits, lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I know I'm a good catch. I just got some bad habits, lighting up the wrong match. Why does it feel right when it isn't? I'm a good catch. Maybe it's just bad falling for you. I told myself I wouldn't be here, back in the car on the way to your apartment. I thought by now I'd see it clearer, but what I need isn't the same as what I'm wanting.
Okay guys, so this is the third and final look with my Oden'S eye collection. This is my first ever eyeshadow palette rotation video. I'm actually really excited that I was able to get this done. All I did was pretty much film basically what I wear to work every day, so there was that. Anyways, let me end this video by giving you guys a little bit of an in-depth review on each of these palettes. So starting with the Norns palette. This was the palette from my first look. This is absolutely beautiful. I think that if you're into grungy tones, this is going to be the palette that is going to be for you. Now, granted, this was my first time using the palette, so I was just kind of getting into the shades and this formula. And I didn't swatch this palette before going in, and to be honest, the look that I created was not the look that I was going for. I was trying to come up with a really kind of light-ish purple look, and it was really grungy, and it was more than it was different than I was expecting, but not bad. The shade that completely threw me off is this shade here. It is a duochrome, and it looks really, really purple, but On the eyes, it really came out blue, and I was a little bit thrown off by that. Now, I did originally want to go in with the green in this palette. Probably should have. But overall, this was not a bad palette. I think one of the issues that I had with this palette is that I struggled with the mattes. I don't know if this matte formula is different, if... I'm honestly not sure. But I felt like I struggled with the mattes in this formula, in this palette, and the shimmers were okay. So, while I think this is a beautiful palette, I think it just wasn't what I was expecting it to be. And granted, I need to try more. I need to try this more because I feel like anytime I swatch these shades, the color that I see in the pan just is not what shows up. So if you have this palette, if you plan on using it, if you plan on buying it, swatch it before you apply the shades because the way they look in the pan may not necessarily be how it's going to transfer onto the eyes. Now for my second look, I went in with the Saga of Freja palette. This has that beautiful orange-green color story, and this completely blew me away. I love orange, I love green. Together, they are like chef's kiss. One of the things that I'm realizing with these kind of marble palettes is that you really do have to swatch the shades to figure out what the true shade is. Don't just go in with your brush thinking you're going to get one shade because you're probably going to be wrong. At least that's how I felt after the fact. I will say that I felt like the mattes in this one blended so much better than the one in the Norns palette. I'm not sure why, because originally I was like, why are these mattes doing this? They weren't blending as easily as I wanted them to. It took a little bit longer than I wanted them to, so I didn't fall in love with the mattes in the Norn palette. But this one I felt blended super easily. This orange shade here has so much pigment to it that I was like, amen, hallelujah. Sometimes it's really hard to get those types of shades to show up on deeper complexions, and it worked really well for me. I was able to pick it up with the brush, kind of stamp it in, and then blend it out. And it didn't blend into nothing, which I really appreciated. So I absolutely love that palette. And then to end off the series, I went in with what's on my eyes right now. It is the Red Dragon palette from Judy. This is such a gem. Like, I will be the first to admit that it really truly is like a very neutral color story. But it's one of those that just gives you a little extra oomph. Your looks are going to be very warm leaning. It's going to be a warm, neutral look that you're going to create, but it's still really, really beautiful. What I did today was kind of mix the red and the green together to get this look, which looks a little bit more orange if I'm being honest, but I'm not mad at it. And it does have this really, really beautiful duochrome shade in this palette that is like a mix of red and green. That's actually stunning. Overall, I'm really glad that I dug into my Oden'S eye palettes. They really do have some of the most interesting color stories out there. And as for the quality of the shadows, they're actually very, very beautiful. You can get a lot of different textures, you can get a lot of different finishes, you can get duochromes and multichromes when you try the Oden'S eye palettes, which I think makes them very, very versatile. And while they may not necessarily be my easiest formula in terms of blending and application, because of what I did realize is that some of these shadows, especially these shimmer shadows, don't apply well with the brush and you have to go in with the finger. And that's not a problem for me, I don't mind that. So they're not necessarily the easiest shadows to work with in that it takes me longer to create looks than some of my other palettes. But at the end of the day, my looks are so beautiful, in my opinion, that I don't mind putting in that little bit extra work to get what I want. Am I going to keep buying from Oden'S Eye? 100,000%. Am I going to keep using these palettes? Yeah. I still have 2 other Oden'S palettes in my collection, and I don't regret any of these. I love all of these very, very dearly, and I need to play with this one more because this is the first Oden'S palette that actually caught my eyes and got me interested in the brand. And I just need to, one, swatch all these shades so I can realize the color story better, and then dive into this palette. Anyways, that's it from me, guys. If you like this eyeshadow palette rotation video, please go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what your favorite Oden'S eye palette is, because I really want to know. Yeah, and that's it. Was it? No, is that it? The next series that I'm going to be working on is my Sydney Grace palettes. I have been dying to really dive into those, so that's going to be coming up really, really soon. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!